And just sticking to the Ujjayi breath. And then slowly coming up. So in the same position, so we've done the forward bend, side bend, we'll do the back now. So just remember with this one, we want to stretch the quad. So make sure that the quad is getting stretched. It's the main part of this pose. Come back as much as you need to. Elbows are enough for me today. So I'll just come back to here and just relax in this pose. So this is a little bit deeper, the back bend, than the other two. So just make sure that you're connecting to that breath straight away. Ujjayi breath. So you've got a minute to go. You should be feeling the lengthening now of the quad. And when you're ready, coming out of the pose, switching sides, and moving into the forward bend on the side. So right knee down, or the opposite knee to what you had down. Left knee up against the right foot, or away if you want to get a little bit more opening in the hips, and then work your way down. This isn't with removing clothes. So focusing back on the breath, on the Ujjayi breath. Try and make it a little bit louder now. So that breath we did, the bellows breath, I think it's the first time I've used it with most people here. It's a really good breath. You probably felt yourself heating up, but if you can do it for quite a while, it's a breath that we used to use in the, well, they still do, it's just I'm not there, in the yoga therapy hospital in India to stabilize blood pressure. So people had high blood pressure, you would give them bellows breath and it would just calm the heart rate and bring the blood pressure down. So when you're ready, slowly coming up. Moving into the twist on this side, so just coming around to the right hand side, if that's the knee that's out, and just twisting. So I think you guys who did Steve's session this morning, you'll appreciate this nice, easy stretch to start off with. And when you're ready, slowly working your way up and moving into the back bend or the quad stretch. So coming back as far as you can. Again, just how you feel this morning is how far you should come back, not how far you went back last time or how far you should go back, just how far your body tells you to go back. You get much more out of the pose if you do that. Just block that pitta mentality for a little while and just listen to the body. We'll experience greater progression in the body, in the poses. Just sticking to the breath, just enjoy this relaxation in this pose. Next pose, we get a little bit deeper into stretching through the entire body, just with one pose. So it's a little bit more intense. So just enjoy this now. Slowly coming out of the pose. I'm going to come into crocodile pose. So coming forward onto the stomach, some prone position, toes out, heels in, so legs apart, stacking the hands, placing the forehead on the hands, and just relaxing. A bit noisy here today. I usually have a quiet crowd and a noisy crowd here today.
I've got limited space.
Okay, so when you're ready, just help yourself up. We're going to come up and I'll get you just to watch what I'm going to do first before we move into it. Most of you will know this pose, but what I'm trying to get out of this pose is what you need to know. Do you want to pass me a towel? So have a towel or something there behind you and just roll it up to sort of like a high thing like this. And so what we're coming into is downward facing dog. So everyone knows downward facing dog. But I want you to put your heels on that towel. Roll it up as high as you can, particularly if your heels are right up here in downward facing dog. I want you to try and build it up. Even if you get 2 towels, fold them over and build them up. It's really important for the stretch to get your heels onto something. Bring your hands down, fingers spread wide apart. Push down on the heels to what you're pushing onto. If it's the floor, that's fine. Shoulder blades together, push the floor away. Chin towards the chest, chest towards the thighs, and hold in this position. Okay. So the important thing is something underneath the heels. Unless your heels touch the ground, then go straight on into touching the ground. But even then, it's nice to have something softer to push on, because what we're going to focus on is pushing those heels down, because we want the stretch through the Achilles up into the calves and hamstrings. So jump into the pose now. And this is a complete body stretch. So make sure that you just bring the weight into the thumb and the pointer finger. If you struggle with the wrists, just make a fist and come onto your fist, onto your knuckles. And if it gets too much during the 35 minutes that we're here, just drop to the knees, but stay up if you can. So this is 3 minutes. I don't know if anyone's held downward facing dog for 3 minutes, but you'll experience something completely different in this pose by holding it for 3 minutes. You'll get to know yourself a little bit better. So try and get as comfortable as you can. Remember, you can come on the fists if you need to for your wrists. That's good. And hold there. Hold as much as you can. Always come down to the knees if you're feeling it a bit too much. It's a pretty decent stretch. Then get back up again and move into the position again. So the idea here is to continually work on pushing the heels to the floor or to whatever's underneath your feet and straightening the knees as you push the hips up. So that's the idea right now. And you'll feel the reason why once you start doing that. You get it deep into the hamstring. And once you start straightening those knees, you start feeling the stretch in the entire spine. While your hamstrings are still tight, you're not feeling the stretch right through the spine. So we're just working deep into the hamstring. And if you're not feeling the hamstring too much, keep pushing those heels down and you'll feel them, and push the hips away and up. So in other words, you're dropping your head further to the ground and lifting your hips further up. You've got a minute to go. So try and utilize this last minute to get stillness and to get as deep as you can into the pose and stick to Ujjayi breath. So work on this. It's a really important pose in terms of stretching the entire body. That's good. There's a lot of stillness there right now, so just hold it there as much as you can. Just for the last 20 seconds. So we're not going to come out of this pose. So when you're ready, we're going to walk the feet up to the hands. And then dangle down. So you can have the feet apart if you need to. You can grab the elbows or just dangle down. Drop the head down. So now you're going to feel it deeper in the hamstrings. So these two poses together, 3 minutes each, will really open up the hamstrings. So we do it in many different ways, particularly in Yin. Use that wide-legged forward bend, Janu Shavasana, Paschimottanasana, all those poses. So what we've done here is just the same, but just in a different format, standing format. And also, this dangling pose is good for many reasons. But reversing the blood flow in the head, we're doing that in downward facing dog, and we're doing it again now. We'll have a really nice Shavasana at the end, and you'll feel amazing. So just hang in there, you've got 2 minutes. Hang in and push those hips up as high as possible. Get the best out of the pose. It's 3 minutes out of your life, 3 minutes out of your day. Just give it to yourself to start healing yourself. Start healing that tightness that we all wake up with every morning. Start getting the blood to flow through the body like it's meant to flow through the body. Ujjayi breath, remember that breath, Ujjayi breath. You've got a minute, just over a minute to go, 1 minute and 10. I know this is a tough couple of poses, these two together. 40 seconds to go. Try and push those hips up as high as you've ever pushed them up. Try and push the heels down into the floor like you're digging into the floor. And drop the head as close as you can get to your toes. And then breathe. Really deep Ujjayi breaths, the last few breaths. And slowly, slowly bend the knees, come up, nice and slow. Really take your time. And then into Shavasana. You'll enjoy Shavasana right now. The intense poses done and dusted, nice and early. When you're ready, just bring the knees into the chest. Roll up to a seated position. We're going to come into square pose. So working the hips here, but I'll get into it first and I'll explain what we're trying to do now. So bring the left knee down, so the shin of the left side parallel to the front of the mat. And we don't want the heel up against the body, we want it away. Bring the right foot up and place it down. Just remember, if you need to work that right knee down, you can have a block or a towel or something underneath there. Now, if that's too much for you, left leg straight out and right leg up, and try and place your towel or your cushion or whatever underneath that right knee. Okay, so what I want you to work on today, wherever you are in this pose, is to move forward. Okay, so bend. So we want to bend that lower back. It doesn't matter if you're just there or if you're in this pose, you're just there, but we want to make that leap forward. Okay, so set yourself up. And some people can get into this and it's fairly comfortable, and that's okay. Start working towards the ground, because this pose, eventually your forehead comes to the floor. So that's the idea of the pose. So work towards that. Doesn't matter if you're just here, it makes no difference. But start bringing, what we're trying to do is tilt that pelvis, okay? So we're tilting the pelvis, getting yourself used to tilting that pelvis to come forward. And doing this straight after those two poses, we've lengthened as much as we can through the hamstring. So this is going to give you a really nice, comfortable tilt in the pelvis. Beautiful. So you should be feeling this in the outside of the hips. Just slowly work your way forward. Just think about that forward movement slightly. ever so slightly. So what you don't want to do is force yourself, but you want to ease your way there. So it's not the forcing, it's the easing of the forward bend. The thing in Yin Yoga is a practice. It's one of the 8 limbs of yoga, ahimsa, and it's non-violence. It means non-violence, and in Yin Yoga, that's what one of the major practices is non-violence. So it's non-violence to yourself. So don't hurt your body, don't hurt yourself. It's about easing your way into it, but working forward, moving forward. When you're ready, slowly come up and release. Switching to the other side. So if you need to stretch those legs out, do that. Give them a bit of a shake. If you had just one leg going, so make sure the right leg's out this time, the left leg as high as you can. Place something underneath there, your bolster or whatever you've got. Because by doing this, what we don't want to do is have pressure on that side. So place something under there and eventually move it and your leg will come down. The other one is right leg down, left leg on top. And again, work towards that forward bend, towards it. So most of the poses today in this class are forward bend orientated. Okay, so it's a forward bending is calming. It's a calming process. So we're going to be starting the day very calm. But also we're working that pelvis to lengthen the top of the hamstrings. And so we get a more comfortable forward bend instead of a dumping forward bend. And we end up with lower back problems from overuse, and it even becomes misuse of a forward bend. So generally we do that a lot in our jobs and during the day, just even around the house. It's just overuse or misuse. A misuse is when you know that you've got a sore back, but you keep bending forward many times without doing a back bend. So that's misuse, because you understand that the level of pain that you're in, but you continually move forward. So you're not working with ahimsa, which is non-violence to the body. So a minute and a half to go. Remember that Ujjayi breath? It stopped here, so I want you to sort of keep going there with this Ujjayi breath. Slowly coming out of the pose into Shavasana, stretching through those knees. And coming onto your back and relaxing. So when you're ready, bring the knees into the chest, rolling up to a seated position. And we're going to come into a pose which we've done many times, but we're going to change it up a little bit. So again, sticking with the forward bend theme. So Supta Vajrasana is reclined. So Supta is reclined. So what we're going to do is Vajrasana, but come forward. So Vajrasana is feet apart and then hips in between the heels. Okay, so you've got that, and then you're coming forward. So usually we recline back, bringing the knees towards each other, and we're coming forward. Okay, so this is the stretch here. So if you've got anything you can bulk up in front of you, do that. And come forward onto that. Okay, you're going to feel a completely different stretch. It's focused more towards the joints and opening up of the joints. So eventually you come all the way to the floor, but your hips are still back between the heels. So that's what we're working to. Okay, if you're feeling any pain under the knees or the ankles, always put a towel in between the knees or a towel underneath the feet, the top of the feet, and that'll stop the pressure there. If you're finding that really hard with both legs there and you can't come forward, just sit there where you are and even bulk up your bum. So make sure you're sitting on something. And then just bring your hands forward if you can. Slowly make that progression forward. Okay, because sometimes it's really hard to get that bum low. That means you've got really tight hips. So have something to sit on and push the bum into as you come forward. And that'll get you used to bringing the bum down towards the floor when you eventually can. So without even knowing it today, you've really worked deep in the knees and the ankles. Okay, so that's all these poses I've worked on your knees, ankles. So keep bringing those heels wider apart if you can, pushing those hips further and deeper down. So the aim of this pose is bum on floor. Okay, so that's the full aim of this pose. Then when you get your bum on the floor, you bring your forehead to the floor. So that's the second part of the pose. So if you've got your bum on a cushion or a block or whatever, that's a really good process to start pushing into that prop. So you've got about 1.5 minutes to go. You've got about 20 seconds or so to go. So hang in there and try and push those hips back as you come forward. Keep pushing the hips back as you come forward. There's so many different ways you can use all these poses, and that's what we've done today. We've used poses that we've normally used and just moved them around a little bit to get a different feeling out of the pose and a different stretch. So when you're ready, slowly come out. You're going to release the legs in front of you. So just sitting in staff position, which is legs straight out. And just be in this position. So what staff pose is this. So legs straight out and we're straightening through the spine. So that's staff pose. So we push the heels of the hands into the floor, shoulder blades together, sternum up. So that's staff pose. And you feel a really nice stretch in this pose. Sometimes you just need things on either side of you, like a block. You know, when you've got blocks, you can have 2 blocks there, but eventually the arms come down. So just lengthening through the legs, allowing the blood to flow through. That. When I first ever did staff pose, I didn't even know what it was. I was at teacher training and they said get in staff pose, and I just had to look at everyone else and they got into it, so I followed. But I needed 2 blocks to have my sternum up. So it just takes time, and eventually you'll push those heels of the hands into the floor. Okay, so when you're ready, we're going to move into seated gate pose. So I want the left leg to come out as wide as possible. Bend the right knee up and under. And so this is your option. You can stretch through the side body, or you can just have a twist, side body and twist. So left hand on the outside of the right knee, right hand behind the body and twist. Or if you want to, you bring the right hand up and over and the left hand on the knee. If you want to go into that stretch and you can't reach the foot, you can use the strap. So it means left and right. But just the twist of the spine is enough if that's what you want to come into today. So Amanda, can you bring your left hand onto your right knee? Yeah, that's it. Grab the knee and twist. You can still use the strap on the other foot. Good. Because we want to get that twist of that lower back. And just remember, sitting up straight in this pose is good enough as well. You're getting that twist, really nice. This one coming over, as you're getting the twist at the lower spine as well as stretching through the whole side body, which is such a good feeling. So you've got 1:20 to go. And also again, if you've noticed, we're working on the knee and the ankle. So the more we stop the blood flow and then release the blood flow, the less pain and discomfort you're going to have through those 2 joints. When you're ready, slowly come out. We're going to move to the other side. So straighten that right knee out, allow the blood to flow through the knee and the ankle. Bend the left leg back and then come into whichever one you like. So either right hand on the outside of the left knee and left hand behind the body, lengthen through the spine and twist. Or right hand on the outside of the left knee and left hand comes over, grabs the outside of the right foot or the strap. So again, with this one, we're working the hamstring as well. So we've done a fair bit with the hamstring. And that should ease any lower back issues that you have today. Really loosen you up. It's about 1.5 minutes to go. So the last 45 seconds, just focus on Ujjayi breath. We're on our back after this, just for a short supported back bend and then Shavasana. So when you're ready, slowly come out of the pose. You should feel that one. Coming into Shavasana, but we're going to have supported bridge. So whatever you put under your back, just for the next 1.5 to 2 minutes, we'll just place under our tailbone. So we still want that tilt of the hips there. So dropping, bringing the belly button to the spine, but the hips are coming up high. And just relax. And just start relaxing. Still using Ujjayi breath until we move out of supported bridge. And when you're ready, just lifting up the hips, removing what's under there and coming into the final pose, Shavasana. As you lay in Shavasana, just knowing the positive benefits, health and well-being benefits that you've brought to yourself in today's class. Just knowing that you've used at least 3 limbs of yoga today out of the 8 parts of the 3 limbs. So ahimsa, you were kind to your body. That's in the yamas. And then the yamas, you use self-discipline with breath, cleanliness with breath. And then the 3rd limb is asana, which is all the poses that we use today. The rest of the limbs we use in yoga nidra, different breathing exercises. They're the important limbs. So just focus now on breath, focus on allowing that breath to become normal, but just having the awareness of the breath. So feeling what the breath is doing to the body physically, feeling the movement of the body, which is natural movement through breath. So feeling stomach rise and fall, the chest maybe rising and falling, depending how deep you get. And feel those 2 little airways in the nostrils. Feel the air coming in, feel the air going out. Now just want you to practice meditation. And meditation is focusing on one thing. So what I want you to focus on is your big toe on the right leg. So the minute you focused on that was the minute you were in meditation. It's the minute you're in the now. So pick something in your body, just focus on that, then move to something else and focus on that. Then become aware of the breath through the nostrils. Then pick another part of the body, focus. Then move to another part of the body, focus. And they're all your now moments. And that's why you feel so relaxed, so calm. Now just give yourself a little bit of praise and thanks for dedicating this time to yourself on the mat. And bringing yourself a wonderful start to the day through lightening up the body, releasing tension, and getting to know yourself a little bit more. And start wiggling the toes and the fingers, rolling to the right-hand side. Working your way up into a seated position, just bring your hands into prayer position, the thumbs to the middle of the chest. Once you get there, nice deep breath in, release the breath, and then just send off a gratitude. Not just. Send off a gratitude to something or someone in your life. And thank you for joining me this morning. I really appreciate you turning up this morning and dedicating this time to yourself. And it was a pleasure to take you through the class, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Friday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning who's available. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful Friday. Okay. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thanks so much for coming.
Hey, Amanda.
You all did an amazing job.
Hi, Mary.
Hey.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. Bye.
Thank you.
See you all.